Hey everybody, it's Angela and I am back with another process video, and today I am going to scrapbook these pictures of my granddaughter. Now I had pulled these pictures and all of these items that I'm going to show you probably last year sometime, and I had made like almost a little page kit and then never actually scrapbooked the photos. So I figured to get back into scrapbooking I would go ahead and just use these supplies I had already pulled. So the papers, they're really thin, almost like copy paper. I believe these are a Me and My Big Ideas. I think this was a page kit by them, and I just had a few things left. And so I have that, and I also have these matching dimensional chipboard stickers. And then I went into my stash to pull even more things. I had pulled some 8x8 punch out alphas. I don't wind up using them, but I had pulled them because the colors really matched well. And also these circular clear stickers. There's white ones and black ones that say the same thing. And I think I would have used some of the black ones, but I actually forgot by the time I got to the end of my layout that I had pulled them. And then this was a set. You got all 4 packs together at Tuesday Morning. I got them a long time ago. They're called Softies by KI Memories, I think. And I don't wind up using any of those. I pulled it mostly for this little tooth right here, since I am talking about her missing tooth in this layout. Then I also pulled some really old rubber stamps. Now these were from Scrap Goods. It was a monthly scrapbooking kit like back in 2007 or 2009. I think the date is on the stamps, but I can't read it here on my editing screen. But I pulled out some of those because I really liked those designs. They kind of matched these kind of floral designs on that paper. Also pulled this 49th and Market, although I don't wind up using that one, but I did like the big circles on there. The whole design is kind of circular, the whole theme, I guess. And then I also have these, I believe We Are Memory Keepers stamp and die sets. And I do wind up using one of the stamps in my title. And let's see, what else had I pulled for this? It was kind of an exploration for me too, going through this, because I didn't remember even pulling it. Oh, these random chipboard butterflies, I have no idea where those came from, but the colors matched really well. I do try to get one onto the layout, but it doesn't make it. And what else do we have for this? You guys, I know I've been gone for a long time. I had some health issues that came up, and we also, our internet just really sucked, and my video card went out in my computer, and so it was just one thing after the other. And so I am feeling better, and so that's good. And we also got fiber. They put internet cable down our road, so now everyone down this valley can now get cable internet, so that's pretty awesome, instead of using the really intermittent satellite internet. So we have that now, so I'm kind of back in business. And then also another time waster was that we got a puppy, and so I know I'll be probably scrapbooking a lot about him. I might even make a album. It's the first pet that my husband and I have ever had together since we've been married, and it was the first dog I've had. I only had one dog back when I was a little kid, so this is the first dog I've ever had since I've been an adult. And my husband hasn't had a dog in probably, I don't know, since the kids were really little, and it was never a dog that he got to pick out and stuff. So it was so fun for us to go together to get a puppy, and so we're enjoying him and sometimes frustrated with him, but he's turning into a really good dog, and we're just putting the work in to hopefully have a lot of years of enjoyment with him. So anyhow, I'll scrapbook him later. And so you saw I just matted the photos on some of the pink paper, and I also fussy cut some of those kind of floral designs out of that one paper. And now I've grabbed, this is just a piece of cardstock. It's not watercolor paper. So I spray water to kind of mix these two Heidi Swap colors together. it saturates my paper quite a bit. You can see how much it soaked in because I didn't put any gesso on this. I don't really like my white gesso isn't very white, and so it always looks kind of off-white when I put it onto cardstock, and the clear gesso is just kind of gritty, so I didn't want to use gesso. So instead I just sprayed directly onto this paper, and that seemed to be a little better than using the packaging technique as far as it soaking in. So I let this dry, I set it aside, and then I come back once it's dry. And my photos are pretty much going to be placed right there. And I also found this tooth, and you guys forgive my hands, forgive my nails. I'm farming now, so that my hands are always look disgusting, and yeah, so even I wear gloves most of the time, but it's still, you know, you get dirt and oil, and yeah, so anyhow, sorry about that. So I'm gonna take my stamps here and get some black ink to stamp onto the background paper. So I want to figure out kind of where these are going to go so I can plan where my stamps are going to go poke out from. You know, at least I'll get them in a kind of an idea. So I kind of get the colors arranged here. I'm liking that, so I'm going to go ahead and ink up some of these rubber stamps. And then I find out that this stamp pad is just so old. A lot of my supplies are so old, and I haven't used them in so long that I'm finding stuff that's dried up and the adhesive's gone, or it doesn't work anymore. So I'm going to have to go through and kind of cull some things or fix some things. But I find some black that'll work. And I like that open work flower because it does let the background show up through, and it's not too heavy. Just want touches of black to kind of go with those fussy cut flowers. So I put a couple of those on there. And then there's a smaller kind of sketchy flower that was in that set that I wind up putting on here, and I'm just going to put a couple of those. I like that they're a little bit smaller. And I'm so glad I got my video card fixed, so now I can edit videos again. And I need to get a new computer. This one's just really slow, but yeah, it's working, so that's good. And now I'm putting a little polka dot flower, and some of these are going to get covered up, but you know, just trying to plan out a little bit. And then I have this circular dot, and I think this one winds up getting completely covered up. I'm thinking it's going to poke out on the right, but it does wind up being covered up in the long term, but this one does continue to show. So I like that, and glad to be able to use some of those stamps, especially some really old ones that, you know, had for a long time. They're just kind of classic shapes. So I go ahead and I place these back on, and that's pretty much going to be my whole design. So I'm thinking, what other stamps besides that little tooth stamp I need to do my title. So I kind of know it's going to go over there on the upper, kind of in the central left section there. So I pick out the word I'm going to use, and I decide to stamp it just right on the background paper. I don't really want to cover up any of the splatters or anything by stamping it onto another paper and using the die to cut it out. So I'm going to put it there, and I want to use two different fonts. I want to use a thicker and then use the stamp. So I'm going to put this stamp, I chose a longer word, so I chose the word documented, and I'm just going to use the title Life Documented, so the life can sit right up on top. And this is going to act almost like a shelf for the other stickers. And then I go and I try to, oh, well, first I guess I'm going to stamp the little tooth. So I think it's really cute. It's from a set of like planner stamps. So this would be like your dentist appointment stamp, I guess. But I just thought it was another good little tooth I could kind of hide in around here just to kind of show my theme and yet not be too in your face about it. And of course I then covered that tooth right up, so. But you can still see the other three. So I think I'm going to start, gluing these down. The photos are going to go directly onto the paper because I want to pop up some of the floral designs over the top of them. So I'm just going to make these flat. Some of them I'm going to put straight down on the paper like that one, and then some of the others I will pop up on foam tape here. So I like that one, kind of how it curves around the right hand side of the photo there. I'm just putting some of these off the edge. They were off the edge on the paper I cut them off of, so. And I'm going to pop that one I just cut apart, and pop it up on foam tape. So I want to move that one in and then pop this one up. That way I have some in each cluster that have some dimension to them and not everything is glued flat to the page. So I'm just putting a little bit of craft foam. It's self-adhesive on one side, so I just have to add adhesive to the back. So I'm using a bit of sticky tape there because sometimes my tape runner just doesn't want to stick to craft foam and I don't know why. So I'm going to go ahead and put this. Now I do have to, be pretty generous with the foam because like I said, this paper isn't super thick or sturdy. It's more like copy paper. So I'm putting quite a bit more foam on the back than I normally would. And then I'm going to put sticky tape around it. So I'm trying to do it so it curves around the photo without covering anything up and yet lets that stamped flower kind of peek out from behind it still. And then I'm going to put this cluster up on foam tape, and I think the rest of them I glue directly to the paper. So I just put some super sticky double-sided tape on there. Put that down. And this one I'm going to have go off the bottom because I have ones going off the top and the side, and it would look funny if there wasn't one also kind of going off the bottom. So that's why I went ahead and did that, was just for that continuity of it and the flow. So go ahead and I get this one glued down. Just trying not to cover up anything important in my photo and yet still have the stamping show through. And make sure my colors are kind of, like I have that green flower at the top. So I wanted a little bit of green down here, so I put that one there. And it's just kind of cascading in a line from the top to the bottom. So I'm liking this so far. And now I'm going to the sheet of, now I'm going to the rest of my title. And I wanted to use, I had pulled these thickers because they're nice yellow ones that match my background spray and her shirt and everything. But the descending F here, when I get to the F, it's just really huge, and it kind of covers up too much of the documented to be readable. I try to move it over so that it kind of covers between, or so you could still tell what the word says, but I just didn't really care for that. It didn't pop. It didn't do anything for me. So I took it off and I pulled these pink ones instead, and I like that a lot better. It needed some of that hot pink up in that corner anyway, because I have that big pink flower on the bottom right there, but I didn't have anything in my upper left cluster that was pink. And then I'm going to pull some of these little asterisks as well to put in there, so it just kind of pulls that same color and shine of the thickers throughout the layout. And so now I'm looking at these little round dimensional stickers. And I'm just pulling some of the smaller circular ones in, and it just brings an extra touch of black into the layout to kind of go with those stamps. And then her hair is in shadow too. She has kind of darker blonde hair, but hanging there and in shadow it looks a little bit darker. And then I couldn't forget the tooth, so I'm just going to put it in the center of that one. A little smiley tooth. I pull one more asterisk out, or two more. There we go. So I'm liking that, but as I said before, I have some stuff going off the top and the bottom and the left hand side, but I have nothing going off the right hand side of my layout. So I do wind up putting a little bit of paper over on that right hand side. So I look for the rest of that pink that I matted the photos on, and I have enough to do an edge here. So I'm just going to cut it kind of wonky there on the side. So I just want to ruffle that up and have a little bit of pink showing over there. And it just kind of helps kind of hold that side in, kind of, yeah, it kind of stops your eye from going off the paper there. So I'm just kind of roughing up the edge, kind of rolling it back. Giving it a little bit of character. And what's nice is I had only cut a corner out, so I can use this paper to as a guide for where 12 inches is going to be, and then I can cut the extra off. That'll hopefully make sense when you see me do it. There, I pulled a little bit more off. You can see how I have 12 by the 12 inch, the full 12 inch piece across the top. So I'm using that as a guide so that now I know, even when I cut this off, that my layout will be 12 by 12 and fit into a page protector. So I'm liking that, and I had got some black ink in my water brush, and I'm just going to put some black droplets on here because I do like the black splatter. I'm having a hard time getting it to actually splatter though. Just pulling a little bit more of that black through, and then probably underneath the documented right in there somewhere is where the journaling will go. But I have to look that up on Facebook and see what the actual journaling is, or I'll let her mom journal on this because I will give this to her mom. And so here are the close-ups. You can see the nice pink thickers and the stamp work, that little tooth stamp, and then all the fussy cut flowers, the little softies tooth there, dimensional labels. And yeah, I really love how this turned out. It was really easy with the little kit I had already pulled together and kind of helped ease me back into scrapbooking. So now that my computer's up and running, I should have more layouts on the way, and I am back in business. So if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to just leave them down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!